How many would agree busyness is more than just a scheduling problem?
Yeah.
Like life is just like, and I was thinking, I was like, what a appropriate, I didn't think about it until today, but like what an appropriate message for Mother's Day. Like busy, 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 right? But I don't think it just applies to mother, it applies to fathers too. Like, and I think some of it, and I'm going to submit this to you, I feel like some of it's pain management. It's our way of just managing whatever it is and it's like we're scared to slow down and just confront the silence. It's like we're scared to be silent. If it's quiet,
Something's wrong.
if there's space, something's off. Something's amiss. We got to change this, right? So today we're going to talk about the subscription that probably no one wants to cancel. Okay? Because we kind of convinced ourselves internally that it's really helping us if we, and I'm preaching to myself because, I've been there, am there, have been there, probably will be there. So before we get into this text, a little context. The story is about a man named Elijah. Elijah is one of the greatest prophets in Israel history. Okay? And right before this moment, there's a big feud between Elijah and the people of... Elijah calls down fire from heaven. Elijah tells the people, he says, if your God's God, bring down fire. If my God is God, he'll bring down fire. He'll rain down fire from heaven and consume the altar. Well, he like drenched his altar. It's full of water. And guess whose God answers? Of course, the God, right? Elijah's God. So he defeats that day 450 prophets, right? He also, this is a man that outran 450 chariots. I'm sorry, outran a chariot. He defeated 450, outran a chariot, right? False prophets. So this isn't just like, this is a man of God, right? Like this isn't just anybody, right? And this is a man who he literally, he gave everything. And he's got nothing left. And it's important because I want us to recognize that burnout doesn't just happen to select individuals. Like burnout can happen to anybody, right? So here he is. He's not lazy, okay? But here he is. In 1 Kings 19 in chapter 4, it says, while he, and I'm just going to walk through this real quick. While he himself went a day's journey into the wilderness, he came to a broom bush, sat under it, and prayed, watch this, that he might die. He prayed that he would, like he just saw all these miracles, and he prayed that he would die. He said, I have had enough, Lord. He said, take my life. I am no better than my ancestors. So he's not going back, right? He's not quitting because he's like a weak person. This man is a man that's chasing after God. And this is where he's at. And the exhaustion leads him to this like internal honesty of like, I'm fed up. Done. Performance breaks down, right? And verse 5, he says, then he lay down under the bush and fell asleep. All at once an angel touched him and said, get up and eat. The first thing God sent was correction, right? You shouldn't think like that. You shouldn't act like that, Elijah. You just saw me work. You shouldn't. No. The first thing that happens here is he says, get up and eat. God meets a burned out Elijah with his presence. Verse 6, he looked around and there was by his head some bread baked over hot coals and a jar of water. He ate and drank and then laid down again. I kind of wonder if there's some depression here. He ate, he drank, he laid down again. Done. I'm exhausted. I can't keep, it's not sustainable, right? And God give him a sermon before he falls back asleep. God doesn't rebuke him. He doesn't say, Elijah, you need to just do better, right? And here's the thing, sometimes healing just looks like being taken care of.
Yeah. That's good.
And sometimes it's just for a season, like we think being taken care of, like we can take that to the far extreme and say, oh, well, I need to be pampered my whole life, and but that's not the context here. It's he's being taken care of in this season of weariness, right? The journey's too much. Verse 7, the angel of the Lord came back to him a second time and touched him and said, get up and eat, for the journey is too much for you. He said, the journey is too much for you. God didn't say he was too much, that he was being too much, that he needed to calm down with all his feelings and emotions, right? Like he's like, he said what it was. He said the load, right? He said the load he was carrying. And he's not, God's not disappointed in Elijah either. He diagnoses it appropriately. This is what God does. And verse 8, so Elijah got up and he ate and he drank. He's strengthened by that food. He traveled 40 days and 40 nights until he reached Horeb, the mountain of God. He didn't go stronger by grinding harder, by doing more. He stops and he receives, recharges, refuels. Now he's on his way. Here, that's the model, because restoration happens before assignment. Sometimes it takes us a minute to get our bearings, right? And and the restoration should happen before the assignment. In verse 9, then he went to the cave and spent the night, and the word of the Lord came to him and says, what are you doing here, Elijah? and he's not asking this question as a shame. He's asking it as an invitation. Tell me where you are and what's happening in you right now. What are you doing here? What's this process look like? It's the beginning of healing, right? In verse 10, he replied, I have been very zealous. The Israelites have rejected your covenant, torn down your altars, and put the prophets to death with the sword. I am the only one left, and now they're trying to kill me too. So the prophets are coming after him now. The false prophets are coming after him. And underneath this burnout is this story he's telling himself, I'm all alone. Nobody else is carrying this weight. It's all on me. Grinding, right? It's like, I'm by myself, I'm exhausted, I can't do it, and it feeds the grind. Verse 11, the Lord said, go out and stand on the mountain in the presence of the Lord, for the Lord is about to pass by. Then a great and wonderful wind tore the mountains apart and shattered the rocks before the Lord. And here's what's crazy. A great, powerful wind tore the mountain apart, shattered the rocks, but the Lord was not in the wind. After the wind, there was an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. God shifting the narrative. He's not in the loud. He's not in the crazy. He's not in the disruptive. Verse 12, after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire came a gentle whisper. A gentle whisper. So God's not in the earthquake. He's in the whisper. I'm going to submit to you that hustle is too loud to hear God. Luke 5:15 goes through this Yet the news about him spread all the more, referring to Jesus, so that crowds of people came near to him and to be healed of their sickness. And so here's Jesus, and he's in a place where people are hearing about him, and as they hear about him, it's like, oh, go find Jesus, he can heal you. Go find Jesus, he can deliver you, he can save you. Go find Jesus, he can cast out the devils. Go find Jesus. And verse 16 says, but Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. So the more the crowds pressed in, the more Jesus pulled away. Because, and here's the title this week, hustle won't heal you. Hustle won't heal you. If hustle was the answer, Jesus would have been history's most fabulous grind person. He wasn't. And I love that verse 16, but Jesus often, not once in a great while, he would withdraw. Not once a week he would withdraw. And it doesn't even tell us a timeline. It just says often he withdrew to lonely places where people weren't. Matthew 11:28 says, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. He doesn't say, come unto me, but as you come unto me, make sure you're pushing harder through it. Make sure you're grinding through it. He says, come unto me, all you who are weary. You're carrying something that you don't have to carry. You're carrying a burden that's too heavy. Come to me, he says, and I will give you rest. And so I want to submit to you today, whatever you're out running, hustle won't heal you. The exhaustion won't heal it. The presence of Jesus will. And rest isn't like, it's like, you think rest, it's like, oh, rest is like chill, like sit back and just relax and don't do anything the rest of your life. It's like, that rest is not the rest Jesus is referring to here. The rest he's referring to is that Sabbath in your mind. The Sabbath in the Old Testament is like, oh, well, stop working outside. Like, stop working in the house. Like, stop. And some people still adhere to it today, right? But what would happen if we internalized that? We said, the Sabbath was, I'm going to take a break from all these chaotic thoughts. Mental exhaustion. I'm going to take a break from my mind racing 1,000 miles an hour. And I feel like this is the mind of Christ, right? He withdraws. Question, what are you trying to outrun right now? A thought, what are we trying to outrun in our lives? Because the grind numbs the pain, but it can't heal the wound. The grind helps subside whatever it is, right? Last scripture here, Psalms 127 in verse 2 says he gives sleep to those he loves. Sleep, rest. You receive it when we receive it when we set our mind on things above. Not on things on earth. Things on earth will grind us. Things on earth leave us exhausted. Things on earth leave us in the hustle and in the daily, they call it the rat race of life. Why? Because you're constantly cycling.